Mrs. Roberts. Today I want to introduce you to my reading buddy, Willow. She keeps me warm. It's freezing today. It's -10. Ugh. For my science project, I decided to read a bunch of books and tell you about them. This one is called The Tree of Life, The World of the African Baobab by Barbara Bash. This says that in the olden times, the Great Spirit gave each animal a tree to plant. And since Coyote was so careless, he arrived last and was given the last tree seed to plant. And since he was so careless, he planted the tree upside down. And so it grew with its roots sticking up in the air. Oh, Coyote. Another interesting fact I learned is that the yellow-billed hornbill, these guys, the mother will actually find a hole in the tree and she'll fill it in with mud, leaving only a tiny crack so that the male can feed her bugs. And when the chicks hatch and they've grown like 1 or 2 days, the mother will break out and the chicks will rebuild the thing with mud, and they'll leave the tiny crack so that the mother and father can come back and feed them. And they feed them for the next 2 to 3 weeks. What is this? These are weaver birds' nests. And this one's called a red-headed weaver. And this one's called a buffalo weaver. And both of them sort of build their nests out of sort of curvy sticks. And then they call for a mate. And if the girl doesn't like the nest, guess what? They have to tear it apart and start all over again. Oh dear. Just fussy girls, huh? This bird is called a honey guide. And it'll fly across the desert saying, a gee, 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 gee. And men will follow it, and it'll lead them to a honeybee's hole. And they'll actually smoke the honeybees out to gather the honey. But they'll leave wax for the honey guide as like an offering. Some elephants, if there's a dry season, will come and tear the bark off a baobab because it gives them like some nutrients and water. After many, many years, the baobab will die and it will reduce to a great big mushy pile of like sort of wood chips, I would say. And if a seed is lucky enough to grow, it will soon become a great big baobab, and the whole life cycle will start all over again. The next book I've got here is called Plants Do Amazing Things by Hedda Nussbaum. And I learned that some mushrooms and some kinds of fungi will actually glow in the dark. Scientists don't know why they do yet, but they're trying to figure out how and why. I learned that some plants eat meat. Right now, this pitcher plant is catching a mouse. And that's weird. I mean, a plant eating meat. I learned that they do this because they usually live in places that don't have very much nutrients in the soil, and they need nutrients to grow, and meat gives them the nutrients they need. So that's how they get it, by eating it. This is just showing you another pitcher plant. like it catches ants and stuff. Ants will come up here and there's like some sticky sort of juice that they like to eat. But then there's all this slippery spot, and then some hairs, and then water. And the ants cannot climb up the down pointing hairs and the slippery spot. So eventually, if they get tired out, fall into the water and get eaten. Alright, where's my next one here? Oh. Some plants are called stranglers, and they are called this because they'll actually like climb up this tree. It's called the base tree, and they're like sort of viney things. And after a while, these stranglers will take all like the nutrients out of it because they'll like cut little cuts in the bark and take nutrients out of it. And so the tree will die, and it'll just leave like this big hollow thing standing. It's cool to play in it, sounds like. This is like a sort of strangler. This is a bayon. And what it does is it'll like there's a tree, like a base tree, and these are all vines, and they'll actually grow like big trees. Some say that an army of like 700 men camped under one. And it's a great place for like a school picnic or something. Where are we? Next one. Oh, here it is. This is called a yucca plant. And there's also called a yucca moth. And they cannot survive without each other. The yucca moth will get this big ball of pollen from one flower, and she'll fly to another flower, and this is the stigma, and these are stigma, where is it? These are stigmas, and that's a pistil. Ugh, I get mixed up sometimes. She'll take pollen from the stigmas, and she'll put it in the pistil, and she'll pollinate the pistil, and soon seeds will start to grow. And for doing this, the plant lets her actually cut a small slit and lay her eggs inside. Now, when the caterpillars hatch, they'll eat some of the seeds, but not all of them. And finally, when they're strong enough, they'll eat through this and down they come. Oh, here it is. Have you ever heard of exploding flowers? Well, I had never before I read this book. What they'll do is when the bee comes in, they actually trigger something and all the pollen explodes. So you can see that happening right there. I think that's pretty cool. Exploding flowers. This is called a trickster flower. And what it does, flies like this one because it sort of gives off like this rotten, dead animal sort of smell. But when they come close enough, it makes them actually like drunk. And they actually fall into this pool of water. And this is like pollen. Well, no. This is just like some nectar. And this is the pollen. And this is the thing that will pollinate it. So if it has any pollen on it, it will give it to here. And it will take pollen when it comes out. Pretty cool. It tricks it. Sort of. Alright, where's the next one here? Did you know that seeds can be planted and actually grow after 10,000 years? I did not know that. A scientist had found some seeds from like an ancient place, and they actually planted them, and they grew after 10,000 years of being buried deep inside the earth, and they didn't grow that time. This is called the Rafflesia, and it's like 25 pounds. Ooh. And it's like, it says 15 to 25 pounds, but ew, it's huge. I mean, a flower that big, oh no. I would not imagine a flower that big, even in my wildest dreams. And this is called a Cruby. And this is actually made up of a bunch of tiny, tiny flowers. I thought that weird. Look. You can see this lady fainting. I thought that was funny. The trees that walk. Have you ever heard of a tree walk? I haven't. The tree actually doesn't walk, but it spreads so fast that it seems like it's walking. See, these are its seeds, and they actually like shoot down. It grows in like some marshy places, and what it'll do, it'll actually start forming islands, and it looks like it's walking out into the water. I think that's cool. Oh, the ant lovers. Have you ever heard of a tree that loves ants? I didn't. I thought ants ate leaves and stuff. Well, this tree loves ants. You see, because they have hollow leaves and stuff. So the ants will just chew a small hole for laying their eggs and stuff. And they actually like this tree. So if a plant comes too close to it, or something tries to pick something off of it, they'll actually like chew on it and bite it and stuff. You can see this man there running away because the ants are covering him because he tried to come too close to that plant. It's called acacia. That's what that tree is called. And the listeners. Some people say that plants will grow if you talk to them. Scientists are trying to figure this out with a machine that they connect to the plant, and then they try and talk to it. If the plant reacts strongly, the machine makes a mark line like this. If the plant doesn't react, it makes a mark line like that. They say that if you talk softly or like play country music, it'll grow better. But if you play rock music, it'll shrivel up and die. I think that's funny.